You are never too old to learn about cats. It's Shani, certified feline training and behavior specialist with Wild at Heart, and let's do story time. I handle all of the surrender requests for the shelter I work for, so if someone is thinking about surrendering their cat, I am the one they deal with. I got a surrender request, and I do what I always do. I reach out and I offer low-cost medical care, but I also offer free behavior help to try to keep this cat in their loving home and not end up at the shelter. And the woman took me up on it, and she immediately called me. And when I started talking to her, she let me know that she was 87 years old. I admit that my immediate bias was to think that she wasn't going to listen to me, that she wasn't going to be willing to change because she's been doing the same thing for decades, and she's just not going to listen to someone who's much younger than her. It was such a great conversation. She took in a new cat, and listen, she made a lot of mistakes in my opinion. She didn't introduce these cats properly. She was using methods that I wholeheartedly disagree with. So in the beginning, I just felt like, let's just take this cat. Let's just find this cat a new home. She's not going to be willing to change or listen to me. And then I said, no, why am I thinking that? Just because she's older doesn't mean that she's not open to change. It can be really, really awkward to tell someone straight up what you're doing is wrong and ineffective. Now, clearly I say it in a much nicer way, and I also offer alternatives. Beyond the fact that she did not introduce these cats in the best way, she also was not giving the new cat consent because her other cat loved to be pet, loved to be touched. And so she automatically assumed, well, my cat loves all these things, so why doesn't this cat love to be touched all over? Brought up consent and listening to a cat's body language and cues and how they communicate. For example, she was comparing this cat to her other cat, right? And so when she's petting the new cat, the cat would start growling, hissing, swatting, and even biting. And I just said, listen, this cat is telling you, I don't like this. Where in her mind, she was assuming that the cat was being bad, that the cat was doing something wrong, when I just said, no, she's telling you she doesn't like it. Now, where does she like to be pet? And she told me, oh, she really likes to be pet on the head and on the cheeks and under the chin. I said, awesome. She's telling you exactly what she wants, and you just need to listen. She also was adamant that telling the cat no was effective. And when I said, well, do you have to keep saying it? And she said, yeah, every time I have to tell her no. And I said, so can you see where it doesn't seem like she's actually understanding, because you have to keep correcting the behavior. Whereas if you provide and prevent those bad interactions from happening, how much more effective that's going to be. We ended up talking for over 30 minutes, and she said multiple times, you know, I really thought that I knew cats. The way that you're describing it really makes sense. And then she even took those experiences and she compared it to her own experiences, so then she could understand it better. The bottom line is she put in the surrender request to send this cat to the shelter, and it's not really what she wanted. She actually really loves this cat. She really wants to keep this cat. And then I was able to give her tips and tricks on things to try, so maybe she can make this work versus sending this cat to the shelter, which obviously is not going to be best for the cat. But in the end, if this cat is not going to get along with her resident cat and is not going to be happy, then yes, we need to talk about rehoming. And again, we need to take away the stigma of rehoming, okay? Stop making people feel bad when they need to rehome their cats. We don't want people to abandon their cats, right? And we don't want people to just drop them off at a shelter. But it is often a gift when we rehome cats who are miserable in the house that they are in. Let's find them an environment that works for them. The end of the story is we certainly disagreed on some things. I convinced her on other things. There were other things that she just was not willing to budge on, and that's okay. In the end, she was willing to work on these behaviors for the next 1 to 2 weeks, and then she will check in with me and let me know how it's going, and maybe I can help her further, or maybe we need to take this cat in and find them a new home. If you are 10 out of 10, always team cat, as you should be, you should follow me. I have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's all Wild at Heart Cats. And you can hire me for one-on-one consultations. Check my website, wildatheartcats.com.